my name's Andrew Stotz, and in my heart, I am a financial analyst. I spend all of my life analyzing things. I have two main businesses. One of them you'll see in the background here, Coffee Works, which is a B2B coffee roasting business where we supply coffee shops and hotels and the like. And then the second business is A. Stotz Investment Research, which is an advisory business, the business that is helping institutions to do research better, faster, cheaper. It was a car for presidents. If you looked at it in the American market at that time, it was an absolute premium car. There's no way my family or many around us could afford that as we grew up, but it was definitely a classic car. And as you see, it still maintains its classic appeal. It's, an 8-cylinder, it's an old traditional style compared to what we have in most cars. It is a monster when you press on that gas. But this car really is made to go straight, fast. It's not meant for going around the corners and stuff. You got to drive a car like this in a classic way. Straight, fast. So this car, because it was a car that was at the high end of the market at the time, everything inside that car is power. The power windows, power steering, power brakes, power seating, everything. Also, what we don't see nowadays is it has, at every seat, it has an ashtray and a lighter. So you can light up your cigarette and smoke in the car. But this car basically is so simple, yet classic. So oftentimes people ask me, does it break down or, you must have a lot of problems with it. But these were the days when cars were made in a simple way. You can see the problem and you can fix it very easily. Well, truthfully, we don't take it too far. So I've driven it about 50 kilometers outside of Bangkok. But I don't go too far from home in it just because I'm nervous that if anything happens, I'm not close to where I normally can get it fixed. So we keep it around home, but I enjoy driving it on the expressway really fast. We go all around, the city. We go out about once. In the past, we used to go out about once a week. Nowadays, it's a little bit more like once a month, maybe twice a month. We go to events. We take it out to places where we really think it deserves to be. If I'm going to the shopping mall, the car doesn't deserve to be there. But if we're going to an important meeting at a government office or something, this car deserves to be there.
Okay, wow, what an opportunity for Car Culture Thailand to be in this magnificent car, the Lincoln Continental.
Classic.
Yes, classic. Okay, let's roll.
All right, let's go.
Rock and roll.
Let's rock and roll. I'll be your driver. I'll be your driver for the day.
Yep.
Let's take off.
Oh, what an opportunity.
Yeah.
I think this type of car should be no more than 10 cars in Thailand.
Cool, I think it's even less.
Even less, yes. My friend got one.
Yeah. There you go.
White color.
Right.
With a lower suspension.
Yeah.
But it's broken down. Unlike this car work.
This car works every day.
Yeah, work perfectly.
I've
very
had it,
quiet.
I've had it for 10 years, and I can tell you, it just runs like a workhorse. People always ask me, is this the car that your mom and dad got?
American steel.
This is it.
Yeah. Is it your car that your mom and dad have?
No, so I always say that this is the first class car at that time. This is top quality. There's no way my parents could have afforded this.
So what kind of car you have in the States?
We have simple cars, we have Chevrolets. I had a Nissan for many years. And I never really had classic cars, but this car came into my life 10 years ago, and yeah, it's been a love affair.
So what is your reaction when you first saw this car in Thailand?
Love at first sight. I went to see it originally. I went to see a Cadillac. And it was a 63 Cadillac, and I looked at it. Same year. And I looked at it in the driveway at the guy's place. He was at a building, and I just looked at it. I said, nope, too long, too wide, just doesn't look great. I just said, nah, I'm not interested. He said, well, I have some other cars that you'd like to look at them. And I said, let's look. down in his basement. He had about 15 different cars. It was right down here, actually, on Saturn. And then I looked around and I saw this one, suicide doors, mint condition, and I said, that's it right there. And that was love at first sight.
Yes. And no bullet on the roof.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Luckily, nobody shoots at me. Kennedy was shot in a 1963 Lincoln Continental. Here's the 63. His also was an extended body, meaning it had the ability to have 6 people in it.
So when you drive this car, have you noticed that people give the thumbs up on the road?
Well, you want to hear my sad story?
Yeah.
When I was younger, after the '97 crisis, a friend of mine had the Harley Davidson shop here, and all of a sudden Harley Davidsons looked really cheap for me when they were already in the Thailand. So I bought one, and I thought that would definitely, women would love it. But unfortunately, I drove that all around Thailand, and I found that only men like notice. You know, for a woman, it's like Harley, Honda. And but with this car, you know, everybody notices and they appreciate it. You know, they just appreciate the classic nature. So I've literally had people shout out, you know, as I drive by sometimes. So I think people like to understand the past and see what it used to be like. You know, it opens a window to people, you know.
This car is like a conversation starters.
Exactly. Well, when we go somewhere and I go into a meeting or something, we leave the car. My driver, Suti, is with me, and when I come out, he's got probably 10 people around the car taking pictures and, you know, wanting to see the inside. And so he feels like a celebrity. And me too.
Oh, it's running like new.
Yeah, it's just a beautiful. You know, people also ask, you know, how do you keep it up? You know. And I always remind them that cars used to be very simple. You could see the problem. And you could fix a hose or something that you saw. But nowadays, cars, you can't even see.
Yeah,
you know,
very complicated.
You can't actually see the engine. You have to take it to a shop to
and
look
plug into
inside.
the computer.
Correct. I fell in love with muscle cars, you know, when I was younger. I never had the money to be able to buy one, but when I was in high school, I was 16 years old, and I went to another school in Kent, outside of in Ohio, and I was smoking a lot of pot back then, and before it was legal, and I was getting myself in a lot of trouble. But there was one guy; he was a dealer at the school, and he didn't smoke any pot, but he sold it. And his name was Wayne Barnes, and Wayne told me one day, "Hey, you want to come out and see my car?" And I said, "Yeah, let's go." So he took me out to like an abandoned barn, and he unlocked the padlock, and he had like 10 muscle cars that he had bought from selling drugs. He didn't use
selling
pot.
weed.
Yeah, exactly. And we went out cruising in, you know, Thunderbirds and all the classics. He had beautiful cars. So that was kind of where my love affair really started. I like from like 1961 to 1969. That era is to me the ultimate classic.
You don't like the 50s?
It's interesting.
With the big wings.
It's interesting, but it's just too big. It's too big. You know, this Continental actually is not really that big. Like, for instance, the width of this car.
It's just like a normal car.
Yeah, with the rear view mirrors on the inside, like we see. Basically, you know, it's about the width of a Toyota, a little bit wider.
Yes. This car is quite compact, isn't it?
Yeah.
For the American standard.
Yeah. The other thing about this car is that it's all automatic. And in fact, even the seat, you know, if we wanted to move our seat forward, power seats, power windows, everything. Even like, you know, power. Yeah, that's power.
Really?
Yeah. All the windows are powered. you may, some of them don't work, some of them work just a bit. You can try it. Yeah, try
this
that one. Yeah.
Holy crap!
Yep. And of course, for all those smokers out there, we got ashtrays and lighters at every
seat.
Yeah.
It's an amazing car.
Yeah.
Today, I tell you the truth, I feel very lucky.
Yeah. It's a lucky day.
Yeah, lucky day, lucky me. Because last night, the weather forecast said rain 90%. But look, no rain
We got
because of your prayer.
We said a little prayer. Said a little prayer.
It's an amazing car, amazing days.
The other thing people always ask me is, things like, is it inconvenient to drive and park and all that? But I always say, first of all, when you're driving, you just take it slow. I don't have to go fast. If it takes me to go around a U-turn, if I gotta back up a little bit, so what? So take it slow. I think also for parking and stuff, well, most places would want it to be parked in front. And,
that's a privilege.
Yeah.
That's a privilege.
As I said to my friend, I said, everybody's got a Lamborghini and a Ferrari these days, but not many people are going to pull up to your hotel in a 63 Lincoln Continental.
Yeah.
Well, for me, this type of car was way out of reach. I mean, it was the type of car that a president would ride in.
Yeah.
But also, I think that what you see is there was lasting quality that they built in. They built in quality into this car from the beginning. And that's why it's still, to this day, 56 years later, this car is driving just the way it was back then. And that is a true tribute, to the car and to the designers, to the manufacturing. That goes back to the days when American manufacturing was the best in the world, It was in the 70s where the Japanese started coming, and then in the 80s where the Japanese started beating. But American manufacturing was, the best in the world.
People like Donald Trump, when he see this car, he might think, okay, I'd like to make America great again.
Exactly.
Right.
There was 28,000 of these made in 1963. So already it's a pretty rare car, you could say.
28,000 units.
Yeah. And, I suspect that Ford, and I don't know the answer to this, but I suspect that they made maybe 500, I don't know, that were right-hand drive to be sold in the UK, to be sold in Hong Kong or other places like that.
Yes, of course. People are going to ask me, why this car is a right-hand drive?
So a lot of people ask, was it, did I make it right-hand drive? Did we move the column, steering column and all that? But no, we didn't do anything. And there's no signs that I can see that was done before, which tells me that it probably came out of the factory right-hand drive. This is something unique.
Yeah.
And in my life, if there's one thing I want to be, it's unique. I don't want to follow other people's path.
Wow.
When I was an analyst, all my life in the stock market, writing research, someone just asked me, how do you compare this, what you did versus your competitors? And I don't think about my competitors. In fact, when I wrote research, I didn't read the research of my competitors because I didn't want to get my ideas, influence. I wanted to think by myself. And that's what, think about, for instance, my podcast. It's a podcast about finance, but it's called My Worst Investment Ever. So I interview people about their worst investments and what they learned from it.
Yeah.
And that gives me a unique angle. And that if anybody ever, the worst insult that someone could say to me goes, God, that's just like the other one I saw. And then I'd be like, then I failed.
That's very unique. You interview people about their worst investment.
Exactly. The thing that they don't really want to talk about.
Yeah, something that people shouldn't copy.
Exactly. Don't do what I did.
Don't do what I did.
Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing.
So I've interviewed 130 people, and we call it Stories of Loss to Keep You Winning. So it's great to learn from other people's mistakes rather than making them ourselves, right?
Okay, thank you again to give me an opportunity to learn about the Lincoln Continental and learn about your idea of working.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very welcome. Thank you for having me.
ติดตามชม Car Culture Thailand ตอนต่อไปได้ในสัปดาห์หน้านะครับสำหรับวันนี้สวัสดีครับ
My name's Andrew Stotz, and I drive a 1963 Lincoln Continental. I'll see you when you subscribe at Car Culture Thailand.